Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's candidate forum presented by the Greater Arlington Chamber of Commerce. Today, we are meeting our candidates for Arlington City Council. Before we get started, we'd like to hear a quick message from the President and CEO of the Greater Arlington Chamber of Commerce on the importance of being involved in your community and the importance of the voice of business here in Greater Arlington. Please welcome Michael Jacobson.
Thank you, Britton. Yeah, let me thank everybody for attending this morning. This election in May is a critical election. If over the last year we haven't realized the importance of our elected officials and in their leadership of our city, I don't know what it would take to make you realize how important our elected officials are to our future. We have been blessed and had many outstanding things happen on the economic development front, on the business front. We've managed our way through COVID and through the ice storm, and we're looking forward to great times ahead. But our leadership is going to be key to that future, and I'm, very proud that we have as many candidates for city council as we do for our 4 seats. We have 12 of the candidates here today. We're unfortunately 10 candidates here today. So we're missing a few. But let me say to the candidates how much I appreciate your willingness to serve our community. Running for city council is hard enough. Getting elected and serving is even harder. This is difficult work. It's time-consuming work. And I appreciate anybody who's willing to go through that effort with this desire to serve. From a business community standpoint, we look forward to working with the people who are involved in this election, and then ultimately the people who win during this election, getting our economy growing and rebounding from COVID and getting us back to where we want to be, which I think we're on a good path, is critically important, and we look forward to working with you. Thank you, Britton.
And thank you, Michael. And again, thank you to all of our candidates here today. To do a brief refresher of the rules for those of you who have not seen them, please welcome our VP of Public Policy, Bill Lynch. Disclaimer to what I just said, we sent the rules to all of the candidates. This is for those of you who are here to watch the forum. So Bill, please introduce us to the rules.
Well, thank you very much, Britton. First, I'd like to join Michael in welcoming all the candidates to our and all of our community participants. We have a large field of candidates for the city council. There are 2 incumbents running for office, but most of the candidates are new to the political scene in Arlington. We're hosting this candidate showcase to give all the candidates an opportunity to introduce themselves to our members and to the constituents of the council districts for which they're running. This showcase is in its entirety will be uploaded to our Facebook page and our YouTube account, so that you can send interested voters to these pages if you would like to do that. Quickly, to go over the rules for the showcase, we have asked the candidates to adhere to these rules. This is a showcase, not a debate. We've asked them to please speak with our audience. This is an opportunity for them to get to know the candidates and the candidates' positions. We've asked them not to address comments to other candidates. They'll be given a chance to state their own positions, and our audience really wants to hear from each candidate. We have 11 candidates and 2 hours. Britton now says we have 10 candidates in 2 hours, but please adhere to the time limits. Questions will be asked in random order. Please be prepared to answer every question. Candidates may not pass on a question in order to get to one they prefer to answer. We have given the candidates a list of the questions in advance. This is not a gotcha showcase. We're not trying to fool anybody or catch them unprepared. And we would never want to be rude, but we made the candidates aware that if they go overtime or violate these rules, they risk having the moderator mute them. And as Britton has already said, we're going to be recording this so it can go on our Facebook page and also on our Zoom page. So welcome everyone and good luck. Britton, thank you very much.
So for context, everybody, that noise is the noise you will hear when your time is up. So I'm going to send Michael and Bill back into the attendee pool. Thank you for joining us this morning, to the 2 of them. And without further ado, we are going to bring in our first candidate once I figure out what I'm doing. Hold on one second, everybody. It's not showing me that particular thing. There we go. Oh, well, this is going to be a fun thing to be recorded. Change role to attendee. Bye, Michael. They changed how that was phrased. Okay, so our first district we are starting with, of course, is going to be District 3. We are going in order, as Bill said. So a brief description of District 3 is that from east to west, it starts at 360 and ends at Matlock. And then from north to south, it starts at Pioneer and ends at the southern edge of the city. There may be some little pockets in between, but for the most part, that is how we define District 3. So our first speaker today for District 3 is going to be Diana Sala. And if I got your name wrong, Diana, please correct me when I have promoted you, and you can make sure that everyone knows exactly how to say your name when you get here.
Hello, good morning. Thank you so much, Britton. Thank you so much to the Arlington Chamber of Commerce for hosting us today. I will say that my last name is pronounced Sala, but no worries, thank you.
And I've started your 2-minute timer for your opening statement.
All right, thank you so much. Again, my name is Diana Sala, and I'm running for Arlington's District 3 on the City Council. As a first-generation American young professional and community advocate, I have a unique perspective to provide and a proven track record of leading teams to hone operational efficiencies, increase revenue generation, expand business development, and collaborate cross-functionally. In the decades since I chose to make Arlington my home, I've experienced both the exciting promise our city holds and gained a deep understanding of the areas that need to be addressed in order to ensure that our community has the resources it needs to truly flourish. I'll be a voice for those that feel that their interests aren't represented, and I'll bring a community-focused agenda to City Hall to improve the lives of all Arlington residents. If honored with District 3's vote, I will serve with the guiding principles of equity, empathy, and action.
Well, that was wonderful. Thank you so much for your opening statement. I am going to stop this timer and go to our 6-minute timer for your questions. For everyone watching, I have a bucket of, I think, 12 different orders of questions. So we are going to start with your order, which is 21453. So your first question, timer starting, is what is the most important issue facing Arlington, and as a member of City Council, how would you address it?
Thank you. Arlington's greatest need right now is equity. We have disparities ranging from economic and educational opportunities to transportation access and environmental effects. The Arlington Unity Council found over 50 ways we can improve, and I think the first step is to institute a permanent version of the council that can continue to provide suggestions and hold City Council accountable to implement them. The reality is we're experiencing exponential growth year over year, and proactive planning helps mitigate any challenges that may come with that.
Wonderful. Your next question is 1. What prior civic or community service activities prepare you to serve on City Council?
Thank you. I've completed a 9-month residency with Social Venture Partners Dallas, an organization that explores the intersection between government, business, and philanthropy. Following that completion, I became a partner, which has allowed me to lead nonprofit consulting projects. Most recently, we assisted an organization in Dallas with their marketing collateral to attract partnerships which would increase their capacity. I've also been an active community member and alumni with the Human Rights Program at SMU. I've explored the inequities that exist in education and business and government and just about everything in between. And on the Arlington front, I've also been the past president-elect of Arlington Great Southwest Rotary. I've helped lead literacy projects at the elementary school level, projects that address food insecurity, and adoption picnics as well.
Wonderful. Okay, your next question is, what do you see as the most important priority of the newly formed Economic Development Corporation?
The Economic Development Corporation has expressed that the purpose is to attract businesses that provide livable wages while supporting local businesses. I believe in addition to that focus, a focus on minority and women-owned businesses that typically receive less municipal funding is so critical. These efforts can help residents in Arlington reduce income inequality and provide significant economic benefits to the community.
Okay, your second to last question is, what should City Council be doing to promote and ensure equity of opportunity for all citizens in our community?
Absolutely. So in addition to the policies to ensure equality, and some of what I mentioned earlier about the Unity Council recommendations and all the great ways that we can explore to make sure that we continue to proactively plan for our incredible growth, I think the City Council should also ensure that equality is achieved by expanding outreach efforts, inclusion efforts, so that people not only know what's happening, but can also ensure that citizens feel like they can reach out and that they're a part of the important decision-making process that impacts all of our day-to-day lives.
Thank you. And your last question is, what is the importance of continued economic development specifically to your district?
Absolutely. So the southeast portion of Arlington, especially District 3, is a very diverse area. And with that, I mean, a continued emphasis on supporting our local and small businesses, of course, minority-owned businesses, and then partnering with the Economic Development Corporation so that these opportunities are expanded across District 3. It's vital to, the growth that District 3 is also experiencing, but also to meet the needs of the community.
Well, thank you, Diane. Diana, you have blasted through these questions. You've gotten through all 5 in record time. We very much appreciate you joining us today for the Greater Arlington Chamber City Council Forum. So everyone, again, this is Diana Sala from District 3. Thank you so much and have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Brenda. I appreciate the opportunity.
Okay, everybody. Next up, we are going to have, let me get my timer set up. Our next City Council candidate for District 3 is going to be Alexis Lupian. I may get that wrong. So again, Alexis, please let me know if I have said that incorrectly. I am not seeing them on here. So with that said, we will move to our next candidate. Our next candidate for District 3 is going to be Dora Tovar. Dora, I hope you are ready to go. Let me see if you are on. Dora, you are here, so I'm going to bring you up. So Dora Tovar is also running for City Council District 3.
There we go. Now I've unmuted myself.
Well, good morning. I'm going to set the timer for 2 minutes, and please give us your opening statement.
Good morning. Thank you for the opportunity to address the chamber. I'm quite familiar with the chamber. I was a board member of the Arlington Hispanic Chamber of Commerce and worked very closely then. My priorities for the district are really to manage the exponential growth, and by doing so, it's not only working with the economic development, but planning and zoning. We have 2 projects right now in Southeast Arlington that unfortunately my opponents were not aware of. And these projects pop up frequently, large developments, both of them are over 300 units. Without really community involvement and an opportunity to see what these plans are before they get to planning and zoning. So one of my top priorities is to make sure that developers come to the district first, speak to the residents first, before they design their plan according to planning and zoning, and then find out that the community not only doesn't support it, but it isn't in the design of the community. My civic involvement includes serving on the Arlington Hispanic Chamber of Commerce until its dissolution, unfortunately. And again, because I am a small business and I have been in business for over 20 years successfully, including partnering with the North Texas Super Bowl when they were hosting here. And so I've had the opportunity to work directly with our civic leaders to understand how to participate and also how to strengthen our city services.
Well, thank you so much for that opening statement. We are going to move to questions. So your question order is going to be 41352. So let's get started. Question 4. What do you see as the most important priority of the newly formed Economic Development Corporation?
I've kind of given away my answer on the previous opening statement, but I'll take that opportunity to expand. I am very supportive of the Economic Development Corporation. It is exactly what we have needed 10 years ago, really to look at undeveloped and opportunities to redevelop older commercial buildings and areas in the older part of District 3, and not just focus on 360 and development along 360, but really looking at number one, affordable housing. We over-index for the burden of housing in District 3. When you look at those statistics that were provided by the Unity Council, we have a roadmap, but we need the resources. We need to use the new corporation to identify developers, to have them bid on these projects, just like they bid on our first-class sports facilities. We want them bidding on housing opportunities, on really strengthening the older parts of the district, and also changing codes when necessary to be able to meet the growing needs of District 3.
Thank you for that answer. Question 1, what prior civic or community service activities prepare you to serve on City Council?
Well, one, I have a great deal of academic preparation. I have an undergraduate degree in political science with a concentration in local government. God knew one day I would need that. And I also have a master's degree in public affairs, and I did my master's degree on redistricting, an issue that the council will face. I've also worked on a number of bond packages and understand how city government is funded, including being a consultant to the National League of Cities on Texas case studies of municipalities that can better spend their resources to be inclusive. So I've had the opportunity to use my business acumen and consulting to serve other municipalities. Unfortunately, I haven't had the benefit of serving the city of Arlington, which is okay, because I want to bring that expertise learned in our neighboring municipalities directly to my experience on the city council.
So for question 3, and you kind of answered this, what is the importance of continued economic development to your district?
Well, in particular, we have older commercial areas. We have pockets of land that were zoned for commercial, but we should re-examine the potential of using them for affordable housing. And that's what I really am looking for this office to do. I would like a list of available properties in District 3 that I can work directly with residents to say, would you be comfortable? Let's work on the design so it comes from the community instead of the kind of growth projects that we have now, which is they get sent to planning and zoning. And if we're lucky enough to be in that process, then we have a voice. I want to be a strong voice for District 3 at the neighborhood level. We have so many new residents who are not members of HOAs because they come from other states where HOAs have been restricted. And I think we need a community awareness so that the community feels comfortable in being involved in these decisions without their prior experience of maybe that having have been a punitive experience or not a positive one, but really beefing up our neighborhood associations, because that's where the community is going to have a voice on design.
Wonderful. Question number 5. What should City Council be doing to promote and ensure equality of opportunity for all citizens in our community?
I'm going to be really honest because I've been involved in the city for over 20 years. And initially it was helping Mayor Cluck put together an MWBE program that unfortunately we failed. I've been very disappointed to see what a great job staff has done, city staff, in ensuring that our private sector partnerships with the Cowboys, with construction companies, with Beck and others meet their MWBE goals, but our city goals are just atrocious. 1% of African Americans are doing business with the city of Arlington. A city our size should be horrified about that. Hispanic participation is only at 2% when we make up almost 40% of the population. So we need to do a better job, and I want to see city staff evaluated for meeting this goal like they do many of their other goals.
Okay, and this one you have 30 seconds, so quick answer. What is the most important issue facing Arlington, and as a member of council, how would you address it?
I think we've suffered a bit, as I have heard from residents, over the term limit. That issue is over. The public has had, the voters have had their say, and it's time to heal. I think there's a lot of hurt feelings. We have a very diverse potential council in 2021, a diversity that we could not have achieved without term limits. So it's time to work together to unify on our priorities and address our plans.
Okay, thank you so much, Dora. Again, Dora Tovar for City Council District 3. I hope you have a great day. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Okay, everyone, that is our last candidate for District 3. So we are moving to District 4, which is a little difficult to describe how District 4 exists, but I'm going to try. So from east to west, it's Bowen to the west edge of the city. And then from north to south, it's 30 to 20. However, there is a little pocket that is Pioneer to 20 and Matlock to Bowen, so a little square directly by side. I highly recommend looking at a map just in case. So our first candidate for District 4 joining us today is Nahal Mehta. And if I got that wrong, please forgive me. I will promote you and you can let everyone know exactly how to say your name. But first, let me get you up here. So please welcome our first candidate for City Council District 4. No.
Can you hear me? All right.
Good morning, sir. So I am going to give you 2 minutes for your opening statement, starting now.
My name is Neil Mehta. I've been here since I was 7 years old. I went to Miller, Young, and Martin High School. I went to Tarrant County College and UTA. Ultimately graduated online from online class. Been working 60 hours a week since I was 15 years old. This is the first chance I've had in my life to actually serve and help my community. And I took the opportunity to do it as a city council member. I want to help my community grow. My goal for my term would probably be just helping the city grow. I want to increase sales revenue for the city, kind of retain our money. A lot of our dollars are going out of the city to other shopping ventures and other places where restaurants are popping up. We've lost a lot of business in the past year. A lot of places I used to go eat are closing because the revenues are not there. So I just want to help revitalize the city.
Well, thank you so much for that. With that said, we will move into your question portion. So your order is going to be 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So let's start with question 5. What should City Council be doing to promote and assure equality of opportunity for citizens, all of our citizens here in our community?
I'm thinking we should maybe start some sort of work and school programs that would help increase the opportunities for the young adults in our town to help our own city, to where maybe welding and plumbing and stuff like that, we could grow from within our own city versus bringing people in from outside of our city. Small programs like that can help a lot. I know big picture stuff is really important, but I'm looking at my little area. This is my first ever election. I really don't know what I'm doing, but I want to help as much as I can.
Okay, so thank you for that answer. Your next question is, what do you see as the most important priority of the newly formed Economic Development Corporation?
Housing, getting more people housed properly to where they can afford where they're staying. There's a lot of foreclosures going on in the city right now. They're popping up all over the place. Actually, a couple houses down from where I live, there was a foreclosure and eviction a couple weeks ago. It's sad to see. I knew them. They were good neighbors. I didn't even see that even happening. So things like that need to be helped avoiding. I don't know how we can go about doing that, but we could put some programs in place to where people have an option, maybe.
Okay, so our next question is going to be number 3. What is the importance of continued economic development specifically to your district?
Continue economic development in my district. It's we need to revitalize a lot of the business structures in our area. It's very old. Giving it a new look, kind of like the JJ's Cafe, the new Chipotle, items like can't remember the name of the town center, but it's the one with the new sprouts and stuff. They've redone the entire structure. It looks amazing. Doing stuff like that all over throughout our area may help revitalize and bring more people back to the area to shop.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for that answer. Question number 2 is, what is the most important issue facing Arlington? And as a member of City Council, how would you address it?
Getting people back to work. A lot of people that I know are out of work right now. Currently, my restaurant is closed. I've been out of work since last March. I'm supposed to go back in April. I'm a general manager. Currently, I just want to serve, so we'll see if I even go back to work. We need to get people back to work, and to do that, we need to help businesses get their feet back underneath them. And that should be our number one priority, is getting businesses back to where they feel comfortable enough to hire again.
Well, thank you for that. And your last question is number 1. What prior civic or community service activities prepare you to serve on City Council?
I have never served, but I have worked in geriatrics as a physical therapy tech. So I gained a lot of empathy and learning how to work with people there. I can listen to problems, I can hear them out, and I like to put myself into other people's shoes before I make decisions. And being able to do that makes me a very strong person when it comes to understanding problems and trying to solve and go through those problems.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today. Everyone, again, this is Neil Mehta. He is a council candidate for District 4. Thank you, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you, ma'am. Next up for Council District 4, we have B.W. McClendon. So let me go find you, B.W., and then we will bring you up. Good morning, Billy. I see is your name. So welcome, Billy. I'm going to give you 2 minutes for your opening statement. You can start now.
Yes, hello. Thank you for the invitation and having me in to speak and share. My name is Billy McClendon. I'm from various ports. My father's a pastor. I'm a pastor myself. So I've lived in various cities, Terrell, just come from Austin recently, the last 7 years ago. So I have the viewpoint of having a lot of cities to look at, not being a homegrown Arlingtonite. I got a viewpoint from several different cities, so I think that makes me a little different as far as viewpoint for the city. But educated, master's degree, working on doctorate, and like I said, our pastor, husband, 23 years celebrated this past Sunday, 4 children. And that's what my viewpoint is as far as the city, trying to push and progress in equity and economic and educational diversity.
Well, thank you so much for that opening statement, Billy. I am going to get your timer set for 6 minutes, and your question order is going to be 53124. So let's get started. Number 5, what should City Council be doing to promote and ensure equality of opportunity for all citizens in our community?
Well, Arlington should be, and I say this with all due respect, we've been doing the same thing. If you notice, the same thing over the last millennia, and it has not worked. So I believe City of Arlington should be one that would try to progressively move in the direction where we have, I would say, color blindness, where we have equity for everybody, diversity of everybody, and everybody gets an equal shot. We've been saying the same thing, talking, and as my uncle would say, your mouth is moving, but you're not saying nothing. And a lot of times in America, we have a lot of folk who talk a good game, but when it comes down to actually doing action, we don't see it. And so here we are again, 2021, still dealing with the same issues.
Well, thank you for that, Billy. Your next question is question 3. What is the importance of continued economic development specifically to your district?
And I would piggyback off some previous, if you hear the horn, I'm a classroom, I'm a high school teacher too, so you hear a bell, I'll be doing virtual. But in concurring with some other candidates, our district is an older district. I think we need to revitalize those businesses and portions that have been here, and then try to bring in new businesses and economic opportunities. I just think that we have let it with the pandemic, and then we had the winter storm. I think we kind of just dropped the ball on keeping and maintaining what we already have. And I think progressively we look forward to bringing in new things without really taking care of our present businesses and people who've been here the longest. They've been here already. So I believe that's one of our big issues in our district. And and housing would be equality in housing.
Well, thank you, Billy. Your next question is question 1. What prior civic or community service activities prepare you to serve on Arlington City Council?
Well, being a Black man in America, I haven't had any prior civic. I haven't been on city, but I've been a pastor. I've been around organizations who help try to push for the equality of everybody and economic. And I say this, we need to be focusing on educational and vocational skill set for people right now during this pandemic. If we have more education and vocation, we have more opportunities. But I just like to say that being Black in America has really shaped me to be a prime candidate for a city position to help move forward some things and policies that need to be addressed that have not been addressed thus far.
Thank you for that answer. Your next question is number 2. What is the most important issue facing Arlington? And as a member of City Council, how would you address it?
Well, again, I would say I would probably use an answer I've previously used, equity in everything. We don't have insight into everything. Ms. Tovar mentioned that earlier. Being able to see policies, new things that are coming down the pike before they're actually instituted would be good. Neighborhoods need to know what's going on before things start getting started, and after the fact does not work. And so we need to make sure everybody has an equal voice in everything that's done. And so we need to make sure that is priority number 1, just to make sure that everybody has a fair voice in what's going on. A lot of businesses get started, and we don't know what's going on until after we see them. And so everybody needs to have an equal share opportunity to get involved in that from the jump.
Well, thank you, Billy. And your last question is number 4. What do you see as the most important priority of the newly formed Economic Development Corporation?
Equality and economics again. And I just say, and it's a shame, and I don't know who it's a shame that we are still in 2021, still talking about equality in economics, education, and other than et cetera, because we're the unit, that's a good idea, corporation, economic development corporation, but if we're not including everybody, it doesn't work for everybody. And so you only have a few who are colored different, hue maybe a little different, darker, and they're left out, and everybody else get to participate. That's the whole problem with the system right now. And I've said this before at another gathering. We may need to blow up policies and start over from scratch, because apparently this stuff does not work, what we've been doing. And the definition of keep doing the same thing, as Albert Einstein said, is insanity. and we've just gone crazy. We've gone off the reservation. So it's a good idea, but only when people are involved, everybody is involved, that it works.
Well, thank you so much, Billy, for all those answers. We have finished all 5 questions. So as a reminder, everybody, this is Billy McClendon. He is a candidate for City Council District 4. Thank you so much, Billy.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Okay, everybody, we are on to our last candidate for City Council District 4, and his name is Andrew Peel. So Andrew, let me get you promoted and we will bring you up to begin.
Good morning.
Good morning. I'm going to start the timer for 2 minutes for your opening statement, Andrew.
Sure. My name is Andrew Peel. I was born and raised in Arlington. I was born the month before the Texas Rangers got here in 1972. I went to Ditto, Young, and Martin. I'm a lifelong resident of District 4. My mom and dad still live on Little Road. I went down to the University of Texas at Austin, where I met my wife, Anna, and we both went to UT Law School together and moved back to Arlington in the 90s after that. And since then, I've had experience as a district attorney prosecuting crime. And then for the past 25 years, I've been a partner in a law firm called Harrison Steck, practicing construction law. I'm running for city council because I've grown up here. I've seen a lot of change and I'm excited about our future, but I think we need wise stewardship for our resources to benefit all Arlington residents and create a bright future for Arlington.
Wow, Andrew, you powered through that opening statement. So I am going to turn off this timer and we will get started for our questions. So your question order is 3, 5, 2, 4, 1. So let's get started with question 3. What is the importance of continued economic development specifically to your district?
Well, West Arlington is primarily our District 4, a bedroom part of Arlington. It's not the entertainment district. And Arlington's existential challenge is its aging 60s, 70s, and 80s homes that need to have new families come in and spend their own money to rip out the 1980s living room dark wall paneling and the mustard colored appliances and the Formica countertops and upgrade those homes so they remain competitive housing remain competitive housing stock when compared with other places we compete with, which are all brand new houses like in Aledo, Midlothian, South Lake, that sort of thing. So economic development plays a critical role in attracting home buyers who will make that bet on Arlington, who will make that investment in an older home and do the work to fix those homes up. And that's why economic development is critical to West Arlington, because without good resources, good shopping, good jobs, people will be less inclined to buy those older homes and fix them up. And that's really where economic development will play a major role in West Arlington, incentivizing people to buy our old homes and fix them up.
Well, thank you for that answer. Moving to question 5, what should City Council be doing to promote and ensure equality of opportunity for all citizens of our community?
There are 3 things we need to do. We need to listen, we need to include, and we need to act. We have been listening. Right here, I carry around with me in my bag wherever I go the list of recommendations from Arlington's Unity Council. And I've been making notes and I've been studying the recommendations. We need to continue listening to the people of color in our community. And in this important document we have received, we get an idea of what people of color feel like they need to see from the city to feel included in the city. All right. Arlington is the 37th most diverse city in the United States. We are more diverse than Houston. We are more diverse than Cincinnati, many other major cities. That is a remarkable opportunity for us to serve as an exhibit to the rest of the world, how a city can come together from many different backgrounds and work together to lift everybody up. And that comes to act. All right. Whenever we talk about the recommendations from the Unity Council, I can tell you that last city council meeting, we had a report from the city staff that had not only concerns or issues, recommendations, but another column called implementation. And we need to follow through as a city council to implement the recommendations in the Unity Council report in order to continue to earn the trust and build bridges to communities of color. Because at the end of the day, the future of Arlington depends on all of us working together. to try to create, reach common goals that benefit all of us and that help all our children be successful, no matter what color, creed, or background. And that's something we can all celebrate, is when our kids are successful, and it's up to us on City Council to listen, include, and act so that all of us can celebrate all of our children being successful.
Thank you for that answer. Moving to question 2, what is the most important issue facing Arlington? And as a member of City Council, how would you address it?
I think it goes back to what I mentioned earlier, Arlington's aging housing stock. It's 60s, 70s, and 80s homes that need to be fixed up. Now, government cannot go into each house and renovate every home. It shouldn't. That's not its job. But it can create an environment where people feel confident in investing in these older structures and ensuring that they remain happy homes and strong homes for a long time to come. So whenever I look at any issue that becomes before the City Council, whether it be a police issue, whether it be an equity issue, whether it be an economic development issue, I think, how will this create an environment where people want to make that investment in Arlington? I really am thankful for Chip and Joanna Gaines, because everybody who watches them feels like they can go into an older house and fix it up, which is exactly what Arlington needs. Heck, I'd bring Chip and Joanna Gaines to Arlington and have them open a branch here if I could. But whenever we reinvest in shopping centers, when we reinvest in structures, and even more importantly, when the city of Arlington demolishes older structures that everybody drives by every day that really irritates them, it helps people understand that the city's committed to a bright future that will encourage them to feel good about driving to and from home every day. And I really think that it doesn't matter what neighborhood in Arlington you live in Arlington, that issue is important to you. You want a good neighborhood. You want to be proud to buy your home and keep your home and drive by things that make you feel good about your neighborhood every day. And that is what I draw every decision on council that I make back to.
Thank you. Your next question is number 4. What do you see as the most important priority of the newly formed Economic Development Corporation?
To complement what I just talked about, the mission of creating an environment where aging 60s, 70s, and 80s homes are purchased and redeveloped. And that can be done in many ways. Good economic development has a halo effect. What it does is when it's created, you can draw a circle around it, a quarter mile and a half mile, and you can find that the homes in those circles have increased in value or are more popular. I really listen a lot to real estate agents in Arlington. I've been endorsed by the Arlington Board of Realtors. And what they are, kind of the canary in the coal mine. They will tell you when something's going on in a neighborhood that makes it less attractive to home buyers. Well, we need to talk to them. We need to talk to the chamber. A chamber that I've been proud to be a member of since 1998. It's been a long time, guys. I've been in this club, and work together to be able to use the Economic Development Corporation to facilitate development with a halo effect that lifts up neighborhoods around it.
Well, that is your time. You have the timer right there. So thank you so much for joining us today, Andrew. We very much appreciate it. Again, this is Andrew Peel. He is our final candidate for City Council District 4. I hope you have a great day.
Thank you so much.
So everybody, we are moving on to City Council District 5. So for a quick description for everyone, from east to west, it's 360 to Bowen, and from north to south, it is Main to Pioneer. There may be some little pockets here and there, but for the most part, that covers the majority of District 5. So our first candidate from District 5, oh, I am so sorry. I skipped a candidate from District 4, everyone. My apologies. Let me see if she is here. You know what? I do not see her, so we will move on. We will continue with District 5, everyone. So District 5, our first candidate is going to be Rebecca Boxall. Rebecca, let me find you and get you promoted up here. We are just waiting for Rebecca's computer. Here we go. Rebecca, if you'll turn your mic and camera on.
Thank you.
Good morning. I am going to start your timer to 2 minutes and then continue with your opening statement.
Okay. Hi, I'm Rebecca Boxall. I'm a candidate for District 5 City Council. I've lived in Arlington and District 5 for 14 years. I moved here in 2007. I'm an architect and I run a small architectural practice for 22 plus years in Hawaii and since then in Arlington. I come from 3 generations of small business owners and operators, so I understand what it takes to run a successful business. I understand all the pitfalls and heartaches involved. It wasn't always easy, and I'm mindful of how much work is required, but also the unforeseen events, some lucky breaks, and as well as mentoring and help that came into play along the way. So I try to keep those things in mind too. I have a good overview of large and small overview of many factors involved in the small business. So I think that helps me a lot.
Well, thank you so much for that. We will move then to the question portion. So let me get my timer set. And your question order is going to be, the actual order, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So question 1 is, what prior civic or community service activities prepare you to serve on City Council?
Okay, well, first of all, when I first moved to Arlington, one of my goals was to get involved with my community. And I did that by joining the Heart of Arlington Neighborhood Association, which is the larger umbrella neighborhood where I live. And I stayed in that organization, eventually becoming president. And then during that time, I also got involved with city boards and commissions along the way. I was on the comprehensive plan. I was on the downtown master plan committee. I was on the international corridor plan. And I also was invited to be a member of the zoning board of appeals, which I served on for 2.5 terms. And then I became a member of the planning and zoning commission, which I've been on for 1.5 terms. I've also been a member of the Downtown Arlington Management Corporation Board as a representative from HANA. And in addition to that, I've done mentoring for young women at Carter Junior High. So I've been involved in a lot of different activities around the city.
Thank you so much for that answer. So let's move to question 2. What is the most important issue facing Arlington? And as a member of council, how would you address it?
All right, jobs and housing and jobs. So it's hard to separate, to say one is more important than the other. And in both those cases, what we need to do is lessen barriers to entry and reduce regulatory barriers to entry. So we need to nurture a spirit of entrepreneurship, and we do that through job training, mentorship programs, things like that. There's also new ideas like what are called pink zones, where you create certain zones where the regulations are reduced or relaxed in those certain areas on a trial basis to see what works. And this will work on the housing side, and this will work on the job side as well. So that's another thing that we can keep in mind. On the housing side, we need to update our UDC. It's out of date. We need to allow innovation and creativity in creating new housing. We need more housing types, and all of this will increase inclusiveness and provide for incremental development rather than all at once development, and provide opportunities for citizens to grow their own wealth through jobs, through business creation, or growing wealth through their housing. So those are just a few of the ideas I have on that.
Well, thank you. Moving on to question 3. What is the importance of continued economic development specifically to your district?
In my district, probably the most important thing is revitalizing existing commercial properties. We have a lot of commercial properties that are either vacant, partially vacant, or just underutilized in general. So that is probably the most important thing. My district encompasses downtown, but also a large section of Park Row, Cooper Street, and some of our other commercial corridors. And so we see a lot of aging commercial in these areas, and also New York Avenue, other places. So that's be number one, revitalizing those. So we need to update our zoning codes to allow more types of businesses and businesses plus housing. And we need to, and that's going to require updating our existing codes, lowering barriers to entry, incentivizing redevelopment. We need to provide live, learn, work, play opportunities close in where people live. And that gets to the issue of mobility. We need jobs and housing in close proximity to each other to reduce the amount of commuting that's required, because that's an additional tax on people to have to commute long distances to their jobs.
Okay, and our next question is going to be question 4, similar. What do you see as the most important priority of the newly formed Economic Development Corporation?
I would say it's diversifying our business base, and this is a way of what I call future-proofing. It's basically the same old adage of not putting all your eggs in one basket. So we need to get as diversified an economic base as possible. And to do that, we need to support all different kinds of businesses and all sizes of business, and in particularly helping small businesses get started. Again, going back to what I said in the previous question, we need to revitalize our commercial areas, our older commercial areas, and the EDC could be invaluable in that, in providing funds to do and incentives for redevelopment to occur in those areas. And another way they could help would be through sponsoring internships and sponsoring business workshops for small businesses to learn how to run a business. I know when I was starting my first business, I had no idea what I was doing, and I could have used some internship or help in starting a business. I knew the architecture side of it, the running business side of it was very challenging. I think that's probably true of a lot of small businesses. So one idea we could do is to start a business incubator on a trial basis, such as a small business park downtown or near downtown. And by business park, I don't mean like business of a hard business, brick and mortar type business, but perhaps even small pavilions that people could rent.
We've reached our time, Rebecca. But
okay, thank you.
Thank you so much for being here with us today. And again, this is Rebecca Boxall, and she is running for City Council District 5. I hope you have a great day, Rebecca.
Thank you.
And our next candidate we have with us today is for City Council District 5 as well. Please welcome, let me get him pulled up, Kennedy Jones. Hello, Kennedy. Welcome, and thank you for joining us today. I am going to get my timer started for 2 minutes for your opening statement. I hope you have a great time.
Okay, wonderful. Can you hear me okay?
We can.
Okay. All right. So let me know when you're ready for me to start. Okay. My name is Pastor Kennedy Jones. I'm pastor of Greater Community Missionary Baptist Church, as well as the can I cut off my speaker?
Sure.
Okay. Okay. Is that okay?
We're good.
All right. Wonderful. You know, but I can't hear you when I do that. Let's see. And let me check my audio settings also. Okay. All right, Britton, can you hear me okay?
We can hear you. We are good to go.
Okay, good. I don't hear the echo now. All right, start. All right, my name is Pastor Kennedy Jones. I'm the pastor of Greater Community Missionary Baptist Church, as well as the president of the Arlington Ministerial Association. I grew up in Alabama, went to the University of Alabama, got a bachelor's in mechanical engineering, a master's in engineering mechanics, and completed everything but my dissertation for my doctorate in engineering mechanics. I married my college sweetheart, and while I was at Alabama, and then moved to Texas in 1985. Been here ever since. We got 2 kids and got 2 great grandkids. I have served in Arlington for 35 years, and actually since I moved here, I've been in District 5. I've worked for major corporations, Lockheed, the FAA, for LTV bought when they were here. So I've worked in the area for the last 35 years. And a couple of years ago, I actually moved my physical residency to Arlington to District 5, where I spend most of my time either pastoring or where my local business is located. And the thing is, yes, I have a home in Mansfield. I have 2 houses in Alabama, but I chose Arlington and I chose District 5 to be here to uplift this community. In serving in the city of Arlington, I have worked, worked with the Unity Council. I was one of the principal people that actually led the March of Conscience that led to the Unity Council. On the Unity Council, I have been the chairman of the Economic Disparity Group. A lot of talk there's been a lot of talk about the Economic Disparity Group. I was one that chaired that, came up with the recommendation that for the Economic Disparity Group. I have I'm a board president. I'm a member of the board of the MLK 4-day celebration. I'm also a member of the executive board of NAACP. I've worked with the law enforcement here in police and reform.
Hey, Kennedy, you have reached your 2 minutes, but you're answering question 1, so you're good to go. So okay. Let me get to I happened to draw question 1 as your first question. So let me set this timer for 6 minutes and we will get started. So question 1, what prior civic or community service activities prepare you to serve on city council?
Okay, 1, being president of the Arlington Ministerial Association for the last 3-4 years, and then I was a member of that organization for a couple of years before that. And being over that, I worked with all of the pastors in the city, most all of the pastors in the city of Arlington. So I know about the hopes and the dreams and aspirations of the members, but I also know about the fears and apprehensions and anxieties of a lot of folks too. I actually led the March of Conscience and I wrote the proclamation that led to the Unity Council, and then I was a chairman with the Economic Disparity Group, wrote the recommendations for that. I participated and worked diligently with the East District when it comes to the COVID-19. I was actually the one that championed and pressured the city to move the vaccinations, the testing site from the Hawks Mall up to District 5. And then I also led a mass sign up just a couple of weeks ago, in which we had one of the biggest sign ups for COVID-19 in the district and in the city. And we are currently in the running to be a vaccination site where I would be able to, at my church, vaccinate the entire district of District 5, all the people of District 5. So those are the kind of things that I have been involved in. I have a business, engineering business, where we make medical equipment for airplanes and helicopters. So I'm a business owner, pastor, engineer, and community activist involved.
Well, thank you for that. Your next question is question 3, which is, what is the importance of continued economic development specifically to your district?
It's huge because I like to put it this way. The District 5, and especially the east side of our district, is what I call lower economically performing. And so we have a great deal of potential and capability in District 5. And so by bringing in economic development in places where there exists opportunity, I'm talking about the physical buildings, location, we've got places. We may have to be a little bit creative, but we've got places where we can bring in business. And with the way that the mayor fought to keep General Motors here, second, third tier company that will be working with General Motors, there are places in District 5 where they can come, and that would help to lift the economic fortunes of many in our district. So, I believe heavily that we can go after those kind of business, bring them in, and it will have a huge impact on our community and on District 5, especially the east side.
Well, thank you. Your next question is question 5. What should City Council be doing to promote and ensure equality of opportunity for all citizens in our community?
And there's been a lot of talk by a lot of the candidates about the Unity Council, and specifically they'll hone in on the economic disparity. Well, I'm the guy who wrote the recommendation, but I wrote those recommendations in a way in which the City Council, if you look at the recommendation, it has a pathway by which they can be achieved. So I didn't just write some pie in the sky kind of recommendations that were lofty goals. I wrote concrete, attainable, achievable goals that if the city followed the tentative roadmap, they could achieve those things. One of them had to do with reduction in transportation costs using the VIA system. The second one was a diversity officer, where we could ensure that everybody had an opportunity at the economic pie. Number 3 had to do with bringing about some opportunities for job resources at the East District Library and Recreation Center. So those recommendations, and then using the city's power, economic power to push banks into doing more favorable lending with women-owned businesses and minorities. So those were the 4 recommendations I came up with, and a pathway by which the city could execute it and achieve those goals.
Well, thank you for that. Your next question, and you only have about 1 minute and 15 seconds, just to let you know, is question 2. What is the most important issue facing Arlington? And as a member of council, how would you address it?
Okay, the most important issue is getting COVID-19 behind us. And to do that, we have to be aggressive. You can talk the talk or you can walk the walk. And if you look at my record, which is what I tend to tell people, don't look at what I say, look at my record, what I have achieved. COVID testing was at the mall. We brought it here because of my aggressive pushing, crossing and the city to bring it here. And then the signups, it was me aggressively working with Ruby Woodwork and some of the city council people to bring a mass sign up here, which we did just a couple of weeks ago. And then working with the county commissioners, as well as with Joe Biden's office, to bring a vaccination center here to this district and really to my church, where they'll be operating 8 to 5 every day for 6 to 8 weeks. In that time, we can actually vaccinate the entire district. So it's being aggressive, having a vision for what will heal and strengthen this community from economics to the pandemic, and therefore and forward.
Well, that was fantastic. Thank you so much for joining us today, Kennedy Jones. Again, Kennedy is a candidate for Arlington City Council, District 5. We hope you have a great day.
Thank you, Brittany.
Okay, everybody, we are moving into our last district for the day. We are talking to our District 8 candidates. So for context, District 8 is actually an at-large district, so they represent the entire city of Arlington. So our first candidate today is Miss Barbara Odom Wesley. So let me get her promoted and we can begin her section. Good morning, Barbara.
Good morning, Brittany. Thank you for having us today.
I am going to start your timer for 2 minutes for your opening statement.
Okay. Good morning. I'm Barbara Odom Wesley, and I'm a candidate for the at-large District 8 for the Arlington City Council. And I come to this position with a lifetime of service and a legacy of service. And it is my heart's desire to serve the Arlington community. I moved here in 1980, so I've been here 41 years. I've served in my professional association at the local, state, and national levels, and I've served the Arlington community at various nonprofit organizations, including United Way. I'm a lifetime member of the NAACP, a lifetime member of Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority, and I'm your incumbent. This is my first term on the Arlington City Council, and I look forward to continuing my heart of service. I don't accept the label of politician. I'm a public servant, and I'm here to serve the people. Barbara Odom, Wesley, District 8.
Well, thank you, Barbara. You powered through that opening statement. So we are going to move to questions. I only have 3 little pieces of paper left in here. Okay, so your question order is going to be 24153. So question number 2, let me get my timer set, is what is the most important issue facing Arlington? And as a member of City Council, how would you address it?
Thank you very much. I think the most important issue is equity in our city. And as many of the candidates have mentioned, the council has received recommendations from the Unity Council. And of course, the important thing is to move from conversation to action. So we have recommendations in the area of housing. So we need more choices in our city and more affordable housing. We need to look at health and wellness opportunities in every zip code. You know, your zip code should not define your life expectancy or your level of health. So we have some opportunities there to make sure our residents have access to health, they have the facilities that they need, and to promote health literacy among our residents, and then provide them with the resources to do that. The economic disparities, we need to take a look at education opportunities, not just at the formal level, but also job skills training and workforce preparation, and of course, policing and social justice. So that's most important issues for us to deal with.
Well, thank you for that answer. Moving to question 4, what do you see as the most important priority for the newly formed Economic Development Corporation?
For me, economic development means growth. And I'm just really happy that we have this new tool to foster growth in Arlington. Actually, Arlington is going to grow. The prediction is that by 2030, we'll have 423,000 residents here in Arlington. So it is important that we prepare, that we plan for this growth, and that we manage the growth. So the Economic Development Corporation is going to give us a tool to do that. And I mentioned all the subcommittees of the Unity Council. So looking at each one of those areas, and of course, COVID, recovery, restoration of our businesses, offering some grants to our small businesses. I also wanted to mention that I am a small business owner, which is why I'm a member of the chamber. MedPro Services, I consult with healthcare facilities to improve the quality of documentation in their medical records. So for us to support small businesses, manage our growth, and anticipate and plan for that growth, that's the important work for the EDC.
Thank you, Barbara. Your next question is question 1. What prior civic or community service activities prepare you to serve on City Council?
I think I mentioned that I am purposed for service. I am prepared through my formal education as well as through my informal. I'm a retired university professor, and I've mentored hundreds of students in that role, and had an opportunity to see, of course, all types of people and build an understanding so that I can work alongside. I can also lead people, and I am a proven leader, as is demonstrated by my work in my first term on council. I've chaired the Transportation and Municipal Infrastructure Committee, the Municipal Policy Committee, and been on several transportation committees, including vice chair of the Committee for the National League of Cities. I am endorsed by 7 different organizations, and I think that, again, is a testament to the fact that I am prepared and I am proven and I am honored to have the support of all of these endorsers. So I think I come to you ready. I mentioned a legacy of service, been in Arlington 41 years. My husband and I raised our 3 children here. They're all in 3 different states now, but Arlington is our home. I love Arlington, and I want to see it become the dream city for all 400,000 residents.
Well, thank you so much for that answer. Moving to question 5, what should City Council be doing to promote and ensure equality of opportunity for all citizens in our community?
Thank you. City Council is working already to implement recommendations from the Unity Council. I think it's important for us to listen to all segments of our community, to be inclusive. And one of the recommendations that we're looking at implementing is to establish an Office of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, and to have a Chief Diversity Officer, so that this work doesn't end. This work is ongoing, so that we monitor our progress and that we continue to make progress until we actually do reach the goal of unity in our city. Eliminating disparities. We also have a disparity study so that we can work with MWBE inclusion in city contracts and offering some assistance so that these businesses can become more of a part of what's happening in Arlington. So in that area of growth, outreach, listening, communication, being transparent, all of that, I think, is the work that the council can do to promote equality.
Well, thank you, Barbara. We only have about 10 seconds left, so we are going to skip that last question, but we very much appreciate you joining us today. Everyone, again, this is Barbara Odom Wesley, and she is running for City Council District 8. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
And everyone, we are already on our last council candidate. So this is the second candidate who is running in District 8. Please welcome, let me get him promoted, Mr. Chris Dobson.
Hi, can y'all hear me now?
We got you, Chris. Let me get my timer set to 2 minutes, and please give us your opening statement.
You bet. My name is Chris. I go by Dobson. And I appreciate y'all having me here today. I look forward to any opportunity I have to discuss the issues of Arlington with different groups. I'm also glad to see that Citizens for a Prosperous Arlington filed April 1st their semi-annual report. We're running into a situation here in Arlington where I'm concerned about an aristocratic air that defies meritocracy and equality before the law. Lao Tzu said, "When wealth and honor leads to arrogance, it brings an evil unto itself." And I think some of that can be reflected in our recent focus on tourism, which belies a class disparity between most of our residents and our extra budgetary spending priorities. I think in part, as a city, we need to move away from morality-based thinking about city projects to a more inquisitive gaming mentality, where we really compare and discuss the benefits and costs to our entire community when we look at these projects. And I think the best way to do that is through including more residents' voices as early in the process as possible. So I guess that being said, let's get to the questions.
Wonderful. Well, let me get my timer set up for 6 minutes, and your question order of the 2 sheets of paper left in here is 42513. So let's get started. Question 4, what do you see as the most important priority of the newly formed Economic Development Corporation?
Okay, so with our new Economic Development Corporation, I think its real focus needs to be fiduciary responsibility to all the residents of Arlington. And I think the programs that it promotes and uses its funds for need to be people-facing rather than business-facing. I think we too often build buildings rather than creating the sort of wealth in our community that can be transferred between residents in order to create that exchange of value. When we look at some of our tourism spending extra budgetarily over the last few years, there's been a heavy focus on redevelopment within the entertainment district in ways that cut out so much of our population that just can't spend $9 a beer or blow $200 for an afternoon. So I think when we start talking about how to improve every individual, we need to really bring it down to a level where we can create value for exchange in the short term for people.
Well, thank you for that answer. Moving to question 2, what is the most important issue facing Arlington? And as a member of City Council, how would you address it?
Okay, so this one I think is really based on citizen empowerment and voter turnout. I think far too often, and at least anecdotally, I hear that people think that their vote doesn't count, or that it's a pay-for-play system that basically prevents them from having meaningful input. The ways that I'd like to increase that citizen empowerment is expanding the Ask Arlington app to allow for online petitioning, as well as direct communication with individual council members. I think we need to have a citizens oversight of policing that really has the power to have residents determine what sort of policing and why that we have here in Arlington. And finally, I think we need to have an initiative, referendum, and recall amendment added to our city charter so that the people can create, get rid of, and recall officers of Arlington or laws as they see fit. You know, our turnout in November was 146,000 presidential voters. Our turnout in December was just, I believe, around 10,000. And so that disparity between national politics and local politics really stands out in my mind as being a problem for Arlington going forward.
Well, thank you. Moving to question 5. What should City Council be doing to promote and ensure equality of opportunity for all citizens in Arlington?
So I think one of the things we need to do is move to single member districts. Right now, we're still in a hybrid model where we have 3 at-large offices, one of which I'm currently running for. But I've pledged to resign before the next election in May if in November we get a charter amendment that does move to single member districts. But also, I think we really need to listen to our residents and trust that they're coming from a rational perspective. We often think that Arlington is subjectively how we experience it, rather than being open to the fact that different people experience the different things going on in Arlington very differently. And in that way, I think we can best tailor our efforts by listening rather than kind of engaging in pet projects that seem very important to us individually, but may not have community support.
Well, thank you for that answer. Moving to question 1, what prior civic or community service activities prepare you to serve on City Council?
Okay. Well, I have been a member of the Arlington Proud Board, which is a local arts organization. And I think that really helped me understand some of the more dynamic issues within Arlington. As most people here probably know, I've been running for office for about 12 years. I missed 1 year in there. And so I've stayed abreast and informed about the last decade of Arlington politics. My education actually prepares me nicely for this. I got a bachelor's from TCU in political science and history, and I got my master's from UTA in public administration with a focus on financial management and community and economic development. And so I think these things really prepare me to not just go along with the flow, but also create the space for new programs and ideas to come into the city.
Thank you. And the last question we have, and you only have about 30 seconds, is what is the importance of continued economic development to the city, because your specific district would be the whole city?
Okay. You know, I think when we think about economic development, we really, again, need to focus on residents. It's not so much job creation, it's residents having the disposable income in order to engage in exchanges for services. And I think making sure that there is a level of disposable income for everybody. The smallest rent I saw recently was $750 for a 2-bedroom, and that equates out to a living wage of about $17 an hour. So I think we really need to focus on the lowest level.
That's our time. Thank you so much, Chris. Again, Chris Jacobson is running for City Council District 8. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much.
And thank you to each of you who joined us live for this City Council Candidate Forum. We appreciate you and your continued support of the Greater Arlington Chamber of Commerce. One thing I would like to remind you is that we do have a mayoral forum on a week from today, on Wednesday, April 14th, from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m., depending on our attendance. So please make sure you tune in for that and hear from our mayor candidates for the election in May. Thank you again for joining us. Remember to stay kind and stay safe, and that together we succeed. Have a great Wednesday.